Hey guys, Citizen Zero here, bringing you some more Wolcen. Today I am going to take a look at my build, which is an Elementalist with a bit of Guardian there to add some toughness. You can see I've dumped almost all of my points into willpower, doing sort of a really damage build. Not really a glass cannon because, like I said, I've got some Guardian built in here too. You can see my toughness is quite high, so I do want some survivability, but I did also want to have quite a bit of damage. The set that I'm wearing is the Redeemer set that you get from the arena. Not exactly the best set for an Elementalist. It's the best set I have right now at the moment, I think is why I'm wearing it, but it also adds to that survivability. The more mage-suited suits are, they do add a lot of willpower and Umbra regeneration, but I haven't really gotten any of the legendary pieces for that to drop. I don't know if they haven't been developed yet. This one was certainly the easiest to get. You just complete certain rounds in the arena to get it. A couple of my accessories really need to be upgraded here, but just again haven't had many good ones drop there. I've got a couple rare necklaces in my chest, but this one seems to be the best since it adds points to all of my attributes. But hopefully as I play through, some more of those will drop. It doesn't seem like they have a lot of that in the random drop yet. Here are the active skills I've got on the tree, so I'm going to kind of go through each one, just look at where I've leveled it up to, the perks that I've picked on each one. And this is sort of an all-around Elementalist. Later on I'll show you the Wheel of Fate and show you where I've sort of distributed my points on that, but I'm kind of going all disciplines of spells. Now I think once the full game is released and the Wheel of Fate is a lot more detailed, I think I probably would focus on fire or lightning or Umbra damage or ice damage or whatever it is, but as of right now I'm kind of playing with a lot of them, and I'll actually switch, I'll try to switch some of these out here and just show you the animations, the damage that they do on each one when I do some gameplay here in just a bit. But so let's look at this fireball's the first on my skill set here. So I picked extra damage and one extra fireball. On pretty much all of the spells, I did not choose the reduced Umbra cost. I might change that in the future, but for now I left it that way. This is a pretty cool one, this Firestorm, Fire Rain. I might play around and change that. I like how you can actually switch these at any time. They're not locked in after you pick it. You can, like, if you want to go and change it, you just open up your skill, change the perk, and there's no cost, at least that I've seen. And that might just be because it's in the alpha stage. I don't know in the future. I know, like in Diablo is the same. You could go through and change those sort of skill perks at any time for no cost. So, I mean, I like how they've chosen to do that. This lightning is probably my favorite skill at the moment, and as you can see, I picked a couple where it jumps an extra person each time. Doing sort of a chain lightning is kind of how I decided to develop that one. This is a pretty cool beam spell. Doesn't look like it's fully developed yet. It looks like it's got a couple more spaces for them to keep adding on to its effects, but it's a pretty powerful one, especially if that's the route that you choose to go, as Umbra damage. This is one that I haven't really used very much, Disruption. I'll show it to you a few times. I don't know. I don't really prefer it. This is your character's class skill that you get for whatever class you pick. This is for the Arcanist, or whatever they call the wizard in this game. You have two modes with the Spellbinder. You could either go offensive or defensive. Offensive adds damage buff. Defensive adds basically damage resistance and Umbra regeneration, which is pretty nice. I usually keep it in defensive, and just because there hasn't been anything that I've needed to really overcharge. So there's Fireball, Lightning. Like I said, I'll go through and I'll try to. That's the Ma Stare, whatever that raid's called. That's that stupid trap. It does a lot of damage, but man, you really gotta time it. Or I wish it was more of like a trap you could lay on the ground and was triggered by people walking over it, instead of it has like a countdown timer. So this ray right now is actually bugged. If you use this ray in any of the dungeons, that the actual beam you can't see. So the only animation that you can actually see if you use this in the dungeon is if the part that you see is the part that lights up on your hand and where it hits the enemy, which makes it a little bit hard to use, but I'm sure they'll fix that eventually. So I've picked some passive skills on my tree that leave fire on the ground for all of my fire skills. So as I was running around earlier, I was thinking about the road map that I was looking at the other day. I still feel, and I didn't study it too hard, but I still feel that they really need to put in more skills than they have planned on that roadmap. Even if they do all of those, I just don't think that you're going to have enough active skills to really flesh out a variety of characters in this game. And again, maybe that's something they've thought of, they just haven't added it to their plan, but I mean, I would think that you'd want 20 or more sort of skills per class to be able to choose from. I mean, you can only slot about 5 or 6 here. And I guess you can slot a little bit more than that. So, I mean, considering you can slot that many, I would say probably you need 30 per class just to give enough variety in characters, but it just doesn't seem like they've quite got that yet. Not enough Umbra. So I do have an Umbra potion, but Using your just regular weapon attack will regenerate your Umbra as well, which is, especially if you have a decent weapon. I am mostly geared towards staves right now. I do have some passive skills that really add the damage with my staves, plus the willpower being my main attribute. This is definitely doing the most damage. I got a legendary sword from it's the Redeemer sword, part of that Redeemer set, but I got a legendary sword from that last arena boss, and I tried using it thinking, oh wow, legendary level 20 weapon, and man, it is, you obviously, weapons, you can equip any weapon, but you certainly can't use any weapon effectively, that is for sure. I'm going to switch out a couple here and just show you a couple different ones, the frost ones. I don't really use frost, and as you see when I'll show you my passive skill tree, I haven't actually put any points into frost damage. That's actually the one I did not. But I'll throw this on anyways and show you a couple of these. I mean, as you can see, I really have not developed the Frost Comet, which has some of the most perks already in the game available. I imagine if you fully upgraded Frost Comet, it would be a pretty powerful spell. The Frost Spear just, I don't know, it's weird. So there's a bit of a delay, so it'll shoot out, it'll look like it's shooting these things out, but it's I'll see if I can show it to you again, but it's shooting these things out, or it looks like it's shooting these things out, but that's just showing you the path that the ice spike is going to fly. It takes a moment before that actually starts to shoot the ice spikes, which is just weird. I do not know why there's a delay in when you actually it makes it a bit hard to use, whereas the other ones are, you know, point and shoot. Fireball, the lightning. Probably try to change up my build here soon. Show you guys maybe a sort of pure gladiator or some sort of tankier build. I haven't really upgraded many of those skills yet, but it's pretty easy, at least it seems, to change the Wheel of Fate passive skills. I don't know about if I'm able to redistribute my character skill points. If that is the case, I might have to just start a new character, but it doesn't take very long to get up to level 20. I think we have about... let me clear these guys out. I think we have about enough game footage just to show you guys how these spells are working and stuff. do love that fireball. It just plows through. I mean, it packs a punch. It's probably one of the most powerful spells I have. I just like the chain lightning because it jumps. I mean, a lot of these are in just big mobs of enemies. And so with that chain lightning, it just jumps and jumps and clears them out quick. Yeah, let's go back. Okay. Alright, let's... I don't think there were any new spell books that dropped, but I'm gonna check before I sell them off here. I know this spell. I know this spell. I know everything. Yeah, so I've got all the spells available. So, just you go to this guy, the archivist, and this is where you sell all of your books, if you already know them, and it gives you that knowledge, or whatever those blue crystals are. I think it's just called knowledge. And that's what you use to upgrade all of your active skills. Probably should start putting some into these melee skills if I'm going to respec soon. It seems like 170,000 points would go far, but it doesn't. Alright. That's all the points I've got for now. Where'd my... Oh, that's another glitch they've got there, that your weapon disappears sometimes. It's still there. Alright, so let's go look at the Wheel of Fate. I'll show you where I've put my passive, or I'm sorry, not the Wheel of Fate, the Gates of Fate. It is kind of a wheel, though. Alright. So, Arcanist was where I took my first points. And I went ahead and started working through this tree. Like I said, I think in the first video, you get 3 points per level. So, I've got about 60 points on this tree right now that I've picked. Nice thing is, like, every node is, you know, the same amount of points. It doesn't cost you more or less for others. You'll see a few points on this that they actually haven't finished. They'll be gray. It says taking this point, this passive skill hasn't been developed, blah blah blah, taking this point will give you nothing, or something along those lines. So the and probably if I respec this, I would probably put less points into the Arcanist tree itself. It's nice that it gave so much willpower, but a lot of the skill perks themselves didn't seem very useful. A lot of them are geared towards globes. Yeah, I don't know. Spellbinder is your class skill, and it is pretty useful. I mean, it gives you, like I said, a really nice damage buff, or a good Umbra regeneration, which is really, really useful. Umbra regeneration is something I was dumping a lot of points into. My staff that I use also has something like, I regenerate 67, 68, can't remember, Umbra points on a kill. So that's kind of the reason I was not perking my active skills with the Umbra cost reduction, because I've been speccing out to try to just increase Umbra regeneration. So on this second wheel, I first actually started, you'll see this is how I actually started, with the Elementalist right below the Arcanist, and I started to fill out this one. And this is where you're going to get into your elements. So the far right, the one that actually kind of looks like a little lightning bolt, yeah, right here, this is the actual lightning. And you'll see this is buffing up any of your lightning skills here. It's kind of cool how they made that into a little lightning bolt. Now these down on the bottom rung tend to buff all of the elements, whereas those 3 specific paths are just each of the different classes: lightning, fire, and ice. This is the fire tree right here. And there's one skill I didn't pick, and I think they've patched this since I have spec'd this out. But this skill just below that one that I didn't pick, right there, overheating actually will kill you, or at least it did. It was not well implemented at first, and if you used it, it actually would kill you, which was not good. That is a good one, 25% elemental damage. So you see, I did not do much of the ice. I did pick these 2 at the bottom here. I picked that one just to get to this one right there. But I didn't really do much on the ice. And like I said, probably in the future when they have more wheels, I will only pick a single element. This is a future development, so they haven't filled that out yet. Those elemental stacks are nice. So it gives me about a total of 11% extra damage, I think was about, which is pretty good amount. Adding 11% damage for a single skill on your passive tree is pretty amazing. I mean, I would say that is a must get. These, I don't know how much help they are. You'll see, like, when I've cast spells, there's like this area of effect thing on the ground of whatever spell that was, either fire or lightning. There'll be this sort of effect there that keeps going. I don't know if that keeps doing damage over time or what. I know sometimes it's supposed to provide you, so I think if it's a frost aura, it maybe provides defensive buff. I don't know. I didn't really see much difference in it. So after I completed the Elementalist tree and then I kept leveling up, I had some more and I wanted to get some damage buff. And then this was the second wheel that I wanted to get into. Did not have enough points to really develop this one too much, but it would be pretty cool to have a tanky mage. Anyways, so the second tree that I started filling out here was the Guardian. And mostly what I focused on here was just defense, toughness. Oh, my computer's ready to update. Just trying to give me a little more survivability. Not sure if this is the path I would go in the future if I was making another hybrid. But it was an interesting play to start with. So that's kind of my build there. It's a Elementalist Guardian, I think is kind of how you would say it, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure how to name these hybrid sort of characters. I'm sure once this game gets fully developed, people will be all over that. But anyways, guys, there is my Elementalist Guardian. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Take it easy.